Hello everyone, and welcome to my second grade science experiment on matter. Today we're going to be covering the Next Generation Science Standard, which is 2-PS1-1 that states, plan and conduct an investigation to describe and classify different kinds of material by their observable properties. So before we begin this fun experiment, students are going to brainstorm on what they think matter is, anything that they know already about it. Then I will introduce matter in the 3 states using a YouTube video that students will engage and watch. They will take notes in their science journal on this. And after watching the video, we will go over that matter is a physical substance that takes up space. Matter is all around us. There are 3 states. The first one is a solid, and we will go over the properties of them as well. So a solid, we'll discuss how it has definite volume and a fixed shape. And liquid is going to have a fixed volume, but it's going to take the shape of the container that it's in. And lastly, a gas is going to fill the container. They actually don't have a fixed shape or volume. After discussing what all 3 of them are and their properties, we'll go over some examples. Our baking soda is considered a solid. This spoon I have here would be a solid. This cup is a solid. In liquids would be a vinegar, the water that was in this water bottle, juice, milk. And then our gases are a little more complicated. Those would be like the air that I'm breathing, or helium that would fill up a balloon. So after going over all of that, I will introduce our experiment, but first we'll discuss safety hazards. So students are going to need safety goggles. They will use latex gloves so none of the spills get on them. We will have paper towels to clean up any messes, and they will be advised to not eat or drink any of the materials. Then I will group up students into 3s. Students will get all of their materials they will need for the experiment, which will be vinegar, baking soda, an empty plastic bottle, a measuring cup, funnel, a balloon, and a spoon. They will get all these things, bring them back to the table, and then each student will have their own role within the experiment. So let's go ahead and begin. The first student is going to pour the vinegar into this measuring cup at 1/4, so it'll be 1/4 of a cup. They will pour the vinegar into the water bottle, carefully and slowly, trying not to spill. Then the next student is going to use the funnel and the balloon to put the baking soda in. So we'll put the balloon onto the bottom of the funnel, and we'll get about 1/2 of a tablespoon of baking soda, about that. Pour that in there so that it goes down into the balloon. Make sure it goes all down into there. Okay. And after we do that, the next student, and they may need the teacher's help for this part, we are going to attach the balloon onto the water bottle. And students will slowly pour the baking soda into the vinegar, and they will notice that by combining the two, they will have created a gas and fill up this balloon. So we have our solid, our liquid, and combining the two created our gas, which filled the container. And this is our gas. And then we can go ahead and slowly let that out. And there you have it. So during this experiment, I would have used cooperative learning, being that I set up students in groups of 3, and then each one of them had their own role and played a part in conducting the experiment together. Direct instruction was also used by me reviewing, introducing the 3 states, their properties, new material, and then before students would have done this experiment on their own, I would have demonstrated this to them all the way until actually pouring the baking soda into the vinegar so that I didn't ruin the ending for them. And I would have also used discovery learning. Students would use any information that they had already known about matter in its 3 states and connect new information to conduct this experiment. So such things would be like, I'm sure most students have made a root beer float before. So combining the solid, which is the ice cream, and the root beer, which is the liquid, when they put the ice cream into the root beer, they would have seen fizz and it would have rised up just like the vinegar did when I mixed the baking soda in. So that's sort of a similar idea. We can integrate W.2.3, which is to recall information from experiences or gather information from provided sources to answer a question. So students can compare, like I said, the root beer float to this experiment. We can, before doing it, decide what they think is going to occur, and we can compare that to what occurs with the root beer float. We can also integrate MP.5, which states to use appropriate tools strategically. So we used the measuring cup to measure out the vinegar, and we used a tablespoon to measure out the baking soda. Now, the more I would have used of each of these, the more it would have exploded, which is why we strategically used only a certain fixed amount. We can extend this to real-world settings as students can identify different things in the classroom or at a park, different things that are solids, liquids, and gases. We can compare this experiment to a root beer float. We can also compare it to a hot soup. So your solid is the noodles, and your liquid is the broth, and the gas would be the steam that's coming out of it from being so hot. So that is all, and I hope you guys all enjoyed my video. Thank you.